Hello, let us try to understand microcontroller interface for AC loads. This is typically the circuit which is to be followed, where we have an AC supply, a switch, of course a lamp, and then the whole thing is connected in 3 numbers of silicon control diodes in back-to-back in series. In the process, what happens, while the load is switched on, we get about 0.6 into 3, about 1.8 volts, and which is then rectified and fed to a filter capacitor, where we get roughly about 2 plus volts. We have used deliberately 2 back-to-back in order to allow the AC current to flow. And then that is fed to an opto isolator, it could be even MCT2E, and finally to a transistor where we will see how the output changes while the load is switched on. Now while we try to operate this, what we find is in the load is off, and we find that the voltage here is only 0.03, which is actually in fact 0 volts. But when we switch on this, what we notice that this volt goes to 5 volts. How? Now this current flows here, the voltage drop, and then this opto LED starts glowing. Once the opto LED starts glowing, this transistor conducts. Once this transistor conducts, this current flows this way. In the process, this transistor is deprived of any base current, because the base current is now diverted to the ground, so this transistor is deprived of the base current. Once this transistor is deprived of the base current, what we notice is that this point goes high, and that is how we get 5 volts here. Now you can see that, so when we switch it off, we find this goes to 0 volts, because the current now flows through this transistor, and then that is how this point comes to 0. This in fact is not a load current to be sensed. It is in fact not measuring the load current, but in fact it is just sensing that whether the load is on or off. For example, if it is switched on and supposing the lamp fails will be a situation like this, where it is switched off and then the output goes 0. This is what the logic which could be given to any microcontroller for understanding whether the load is on or off. Thank you.